Hi, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe. Please hit like. This is my last ditch effort at getting this thing running well. So it's ticking right now, but the amplitude is kind of crappy. It's my last shot at it, and I did pick up another spring. There it is. This is a brand new mainspring, and the mainspring is a strength of 0.30, which I think is a little stronger than the original mainspring. This is the original one in here, which is 0.25, and I'm hoping it makes a substantial difference in the actual amplitude of this movement. So let's replace that mainspring and see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is just tuck this mainspring, take this mainspring out, because I don't think I can put it in the barrel like this and wrap it in. I think I can take it, just kind of very carefully try to take this mainspring out of its seating here. This could be a disaster in waiting, I don't know, but I'm just going to try to do this. So hold on to your friggin' whatevers, because I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I've done this many times, but not with a brand new mainspring tucked in like this. I don't want to lose a finger or get my hands all cut up or anything, but just going to walk it out slowly here. And I'm just holding it on the edge and walking it out. It's got a metal clip or band holding it in. It's compressing it. And that should stay in place until I've walked it all the way out. There we go. It worked. Good stuff. So there's the band that was holding it in place. There's the mainspring. It has a hole on the end, and this watch does not have that. So what I need to do, what I'm going to have to do, is bend this over and crimp it down a few times, and I'm going to do that with a torch and some pliers. So that is the technique. So let's take out the mainspring from the watch itself. So the first thing I need to do is let the power down on this. So I'm just going to take my tweezers and push the click out of the way, and just let the crown ride on my thumb here as this winds down. I don't want to let this go quickly, although it did there, but I just want to have some control over it. So there we go. It's all the way down now. And now I need to lift this plate up. Everything else I should be able to just leave in place as I lift this plate up. It shouldn't be a big deal here. I've got a couple of screws here I've got to take out. Just bear in mind, this is a very old watch here. And I got no big stories to tell you today other than that we'll just get this done quickly and see if it improves the amplitude. I'm really hoping it does. It's a bit tricky because I have to bend the end of that mainspring because I don't think the hook will hold. There we go. And then, as I've done before, it's got this funky way of holding this in place. With this screw is actually a double plate, and I just have to do this to remove it. Like that. And then this comes up and out. That's the ratchet wheel. Like that. And then this should just lift straight up. Pardon my fingers. There it is, straight up like that. I can leave this the way it is, and I know from past experience that this barrel should come right out. I need to go put on different glasses. These are not my watchmaking glasses, and I probably want to get a better view of this. So there we go. There's the barrel. And now this side of the barrel here, I know that I can take the cap off, and I put a little mark on the edge here where the opening is, and that was to remind me of the next time I need to do this. I didn't know I'd have to take this apart so many times. But there it is there. There's the mainspring wrapped in there. And there's the bend right there. And this is the other mainspring I procured for it. It's working okay. And I'll keep this mainspring secure just in case I need to reuse it. But let me just walk this out just like I walked the other one out. It's a lot of walking today. And I'll show you these mainsprings beside each other once I get this out. Just bear with me. I mean, that just flew. It's okay though. So there's the mainspring, and there's the new mainspring here. So I'm hoping that this new mainspring and its strength, because it's a little stiffer than this one here, I'm hoping it makes a big difference in the actual watch. So let me just move that one aside. And I've got to get a torch out because I'm going to be bending this over. So it looks like the very end of it is not really conditioned, but it would catch on the knob of this barrel here. There's a little knob right there. If I could actually get it to catch on the knob without having to bend it, that'd be even better, but I'm not sure if that'll happen. I'll have to have a closer look at it. Alright, now I got the right glasses on, I can dig into the problem. So now I'm tucking the mainspring in. I decided to just use that end loop and see if that would catch enough to not have to bend the end, and we'll see if that works or not. I'll know if it slips for sure, and if it slips I got to redo it, but if it doesn't slip I got myself a deal here. Always keep one thumb permanently down on this as you roll the mainspring in. Otherwise you're asking for trouble. There we go. Mainspring is now in place. Let's see if I can just put a little bit of oil on that, but I'm going to roll the arbor in there too after. And I'm not sure with these mainsprings. They're old mainsprings, but I'm not sure if this mainspring with the material they have nowadays, this is a newer mainspring, actually needs the oil on it. Not quite sure, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt if I do it. So I'm going to do it anyway. And now to get the arbor in is a bit tricky. You have to kind of coax it in. This could be, hopefully it's not as hard as it usually is, but the opening for the arbor is a lot smaller. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a bit harder to do. Only because of the opening being so small. I may have to open that opening up a bit in order to get this arbor in. Let me see if I can find a tool to help me here. So I have a tool for every purpose. So this tool here will help me open up that. This is a closing tool. So one or the other. So I just have to be very careful when I'm doing this, when I put this in here, that I don't open it up too much. No, it's pretty loose. When I did that, it just sort of opened up like fast. So I don't know whether that opened it up too much here. It might have. Seems like it should be a little flatter right there. So than it is. So I may be able to flatten that out a bit as well. Yeah, I think I need to have a different pair of pliers to flatten it out because I want to conform it to the arbor here so that it kind of matches the radius of the arbor. So I have to flatten that out just a bit. Just be very careful because if you do this wrong, you screw this up, then you screw up the mainspring. There, that's a little flatter, which might help. So I'm just going to slide this in and see what I got. And you grab a screwdriver and you can put it in the edge here and just to open it up a bit. There we go. So that's in there now, but I don't know if that's going to hug the hook right there. I got to have a closer look at this. So there it is there. See if I can get a focus on this somehow. And that's not too bad. I think it's hugging the hook there. So I'm going to put this back in. So I got two areas of concern. One is that the notch here is going to be able to press down properly onto the barrel notch, and that this is hugging the hook properly. So hopefully both of those work and I don't have to readjust this spring. There, I just put the cap back on and I think that's in good position now. Every time I put the cap on, I worry about it riding up too high. But we'll try this out and see what I get. There it is there. And what I always do is I roll the edges in Rodico just in case some little tiny piece of material gets in the teeth, which it shouldn't, but it might. You never know. So roll that in there. This has been oiled a few times, so I'm not going to bother oiling the hole here, down here. I'm just going to slide it in like this. Actually, if I slide it in the correct way, it usually works better. There we go. So that's slid in there. And then I got to look at make sure that this is in the right place here, which it isn't. So when I put the plate back down, the other thing I want to do is there's a screw on the top of the plate here. There's a screw right here, and that's the screw. This is the screw right here that pushes down, see right there, and keeps the stem in place. So I want this to be loosened so that it's kind of out of the way. Just like that. I look inside and it's pretty much out of the way now. And now I can drop this down, but I can't drop this down until I make sure this is pressed in here and that this lever is in place. And I do that by putting some downward pressure on the crown, which pushes the crown wheel and the other wheel down. So now I should just be able to drop this into place. And once I have this dropped in place, just trying to make sure everything is good here. There we go. Oh, there we go. So I think that's down and flat now. And I just hold the whole thing down with one finger, like that. And then I want to put the screws in place. So I'll put the small end screw in first. And again, I don't know whether that mainspring will hold the way I have it clipped in. I'm just hoping it does. If it doesn't, I just take it all apart again. If it doesn't hold, then I'm going to have to actually bend that mainspring so it clips on the end. I didn't want to have to do that, but when you're working with watches, you're always doing something to do something. So I'll tighten those down after. It's 1, 2, and then the third one. Like that. And I'll just give them a small bit of twist here. Like that. There we go. That is in place now. Now I just have to put down the ratchet wheel. I usually line up the square part with the square part on the arbor, and I can get this out of the way, but I'll just lay it down first, like that. If I can get it close, that's good. You kind of play with it a bit to see if you can get it to fit in properly. There we go. So that's in like this, and then I've got this funky looking, it always slides under. I'm not sure why, but it does. Funky looking screw that's got to go down on this. I'll see if I can just start this before I get too depressed. There we go. And that'll hold that in place like that. Now I'm going to try winding this, and if it slips and slides and stuff, I know I don't have a good deal here. I just felt it slide. See if I can get this thing started, and there it goes. So now I want to measure. So it is working. I need to make sure this screw is down to hold the stem in place. and bring this back a bit, like that, and there we go. Now that's in deep. Now, did that work? Seems to be holding it. Now I'm going to take a video in slow motion of the bounce, because I'm really curious if I got better amplitude with this. There we go. So that's the slow motion of the bounce. Let me move this out of the way and play this for you. And we'll just see in a second, it'll start going. There we go. That is, yes, that is a lot better. I'm watching the arm, and it's going more than 365 degrees around, which is what I wanted. That's perfect. So that's excellent. So as long as that stem, or as long as it holds in the barrel, I've got a good movement, or good mainspring. So that worked. So that's it. So there's the clock, and I'll be letting it run for a while in various positions, and then I'll just reassemble it, and we'll see what we got. And what I've been doing recently, like that meant in the last couple of days, is just taking this part here, which is the back of the clock, and putting it down onto the clock like this, and lining that up, and then just leaning it like that, and making sure it still ran in good position. So I would take a video of it from this angle here to make sure it wasn't stopping, but this seems like it's not going to have a problem. It seems like it's a hell of a better spring than the other one was. So that's it. So I'm JD, and all right, there's a funky angle. I have it sitting on a cup. So it's in the right position right now. This is how it would normally be sitting when it's operating. So I'm JD, so thanks for watching, and I believe I now have this clock running really well. So we're going to let this run overnight to make sure I don't have any problems. I'm going to wind it up again and just make sure it's a solid repair. So thanks for watching my channel. It's called Entertainment and Watchmaking, and I plan on doing a few entertainment videos coming up that should hopefully be funny. But I will also continue to do watchmaking videos as I enjoy the hobby of watchmaking. Thanks.